Good evening and welcome to this session of Facebook Live. Today, it's intended to be an advisory of how, in the current situation, we can restore and sustain emotional harmony. And what I am going to introduce to you is the quality of this suite of remedies, 38 remedies, or rather 39 remedies called Bach Flower remedies, which I have and my family has personally experienced, not only now but over several years, and found tremendous relief from. So I would like to introduce them. I would like to, hi Uma, hi Laksh, thanks for joining. I would like to introduce Bach Flower remedies, and then I will talk about specific remedies that you can take and you can mix them based on your emotions and your emotional needs. And trust me, though they are very safe and subtle, but the effect that they bring in is very profound and deep and often very quick. You will immediately find a lot of peace, tranquility, and even joy once you start using these remedies. So let's look at what is happening from a psychological perspective first. Where are we in this entire thing? What is it that deep inside is happening with us? The situation today is a situation of grief. Yeah, you must be wondering why am I calling it grief? Because normally we associate grief with people who are close to us. They're moving on and they're leaving us behind. We associate grief with loss of our loved ones. In the broader sense, grief, however, is loss per se, loss of something that I prize, that I value, that I love, that I cherish. And the situation today is profound loss, is that of profound loss, loss of safety, loss of security, loss of the status quo, the comfort with which I was living my life, loss of peace, very important, and loss of good health or fear of loss of good health. Now, in any moment of grief, a person goes through 5 stages, and I'm talking about this when it is unmanaged. The person needs to go through 5 stages to be able to accept it. And this is a model which is well established. It's a very old model which was invented by this lady Elizabeth Ross Hubler. The 5 stages are: the first stage is the stage of denial. You would have noticed that, hi Andalib, thanks for joining. The first stage is that of denial. Many of us, when it first happened, when we got the news, when we knew that the pandemic was not just at our doorstep, but has entered our our land, has entered our haven of peace and predictability. The first thing was denial. The denial came in the form of, well, it's a stray case. It is not for me. Nothing is going to happen to me. It might have happened to somebody somewhere. So I'm not bothered about it so much. The first stage of grief shocking a person is denial, and denial of the shock created by the grief. That's a coping mechanism. The second stage is anger. Why did it have to happen? Why did it have to happen to us? Why did it have to take away my peace of mind? And so on and so forth. So a lot of mind talks start happening, and you start becoming angry with the situation. You start talking to people and telling them it shouldn't have happened had it not been for some irresponsible behavior by others. This anger is other directed. The third stage is the stage of bargain. When you start bargaining with the system outside, with the environment, saying, okay, so I accept that grief has struck me, but these are the things that I will do, and these are things that I will not do. So remember the first time when restrictions were imposed, didn't you have bargaining thoughts inside you that these are the things you will do and these are the things you will not like to do? That is the third stage of bargaining. The fourth stage is a stage of depression. Having gone through denial, anger, and bargaining, you withdraw. You know nothing is working. It's so real, it is hitting me hard. It's causing a lot of pain, causing a lot of fear. And you decide, or your soul decides to withdraw to a place where it is not bashed up again and again by thoughts which were injurious and not very happy thoughts. This is a state where you feel discouraged, despondent, even despaired, and completely dejected. A sense of gloom descends, and you would like to stay there. Your urge to act upon the situation and extricate yourself out of it goes down. Finally, after being in that state for some time, slowly you begin to accept that yes, grief has struck. And the leap, you join a little later. I'm talking of this situation as a situation of grief for having lost many a thing that we have prized: our safety, our security, our good health, our peace of mind, and of course, our social uh, energy itself has got impacted. So, in this five stages, we as human beings, we go through several emotions. And now I'm going to bring in Bach Flower remedies and map them with each emotion and help you to understand and know how you can manage these emotions. I don't know where you are in this five stage model, but based on your emotions, You can choose the remedy. It's very easy to procure these remedies. You can go to your neighborhood homeo shop, hopefully a, a reasonably good and respectably sized shop. Ask for Bach Flower remedies, and you name it, and they will give it to you. I'll share with you how you can uh, take the remedies, mix the remedies, and then take and ingest the remedies. Okay, so what are some of the emotions? Let's look at it. So, Andali, what are some of the emotions that we might be going through at this point in time? You're on stage 4 and 5. So, 5 is good, 5 is acceptance, 4 can be managed. So, we will start with stage 4 and 5 because the only visitor that I have right now, I don't see others. I don't know whether they're in a hidden mode. Andali, at this point in time, you can invite others. You can uh, ask them to join the live because this is going to be an advisory for many people sitting at home. They must be wondering what they can do. Uh, yes, there are many other means like meditation and yoga and whatnot, but I have not known a more simple modality as compared to Bach Flower remedy. How do I restore and sustain my emotional comfort? Like, hi Deepa, how are you? Come online and we will talk. So, the first thing about the situation is the inability to accept, or even before that, let's look at what's the first thing that happens when grief strikes. Any suggestions? When it struck you for the first time, what happened at an emotional plane in your emotional consciousness? What happened? Well, the first thing that happens is shock and grief. The first thing that happens, shock and trauma. Now, there are two remedies for shock in Bach Flower remedies. And as I am going to talk about these remedies, I don't know where to write. I would also try and write it so that you know how it is spelled. Okay, so I am not being able to find that space where I can write the name of the remedies. There must be a way by which I can write. If anyone can help me find it on the screen. Hi, Babita, welcome. So I'm going to dictate it. I'm not able to write it. The remedy for trauma, the hurt that you would have experienced and you still experience as and when you realize that grief has struck you. This trauma is managed by a remedy called Star of Bethlehem. STAR, Star of Bethlehem. Bethlem. Yes, as the name of the remedy suggests, it comes from a flower called Star of Bethlehem, which actually looks like a star, white in color. And as the name suggests, it's like heralding the birth of a Messiah, which is going to take you out of moment of pain and hurt and trauma. The remedy for shock is called rock rose, another flower, rock, Rockrose. The first reaction to anything which is untoward is that of shock. It's more like unexpected, unprecedented situation of fear, of terror, and you simply seem to be frozen at that point in time. Rock Rose and Star of Bethlehem are two remedies which are found in this wonder remedy called Rescue Remedy. RESCUE, Rescue Remedy, REMEDY. The only remedy that Dr. Edward Bach, the founder and the inventor of this system of wonderful remedies, created himself. And Rescue Remedy I am recommending is the first remedy that you can take when you are wanting to work upon your emotional body and bring it to some state of, of peace, of some state of stability, some state of harmony and comfort. Now, my recommendation is instead of just taking rescue remedy, and national remedies can be combined, but I'm not going to give you many combinations. I'm going to tell you about the remedies per se. So, what I'm recommending is the first combination can be rescue remedy. Listen to me, and maybe if you can write it down somewhere, you can write it in a comment column also. Rescue remedy, sweet chestnut and gorse. Rescue remedies, sweet chestnut and gorse. I'm writing it. This is the first remedy which will help you to settle down your emotions if they are in a very turbulent state and you exactly are not even able to figure out or name how you're feeling. This combination will help you to settle down. Rescue remedy, as the name suggests, brings you out of the crisis mode. Sweet chestnut brings you out of a state of dejection and a state where you are not able to accept that your lasting beliefs have been questioned and impacted. And gorge brings you out of a state of hopelessness. Having done that, we now look at how do I accept this situation, which is so drastically, so dramatically different from my normal life. Now, there is a remedy and another beautiful remedy. It's an awesome remedy, and I think a remedy which is most required by most of us. The remedy is called walnut. It has got nothing to do with the fruit walnut that we have. It's an extract of the flower of walnut. Now, walnut helps us to break the link from the usual and create a new link to the unusual. Walnut helps us to move out of one space, the space of comfort, a comfort zone, to another space and try to create a new comfort zone there. So remember, that's the third remedy that I have talked about. Star of Bethlehem, rock rose, and walnut. Now comes the most primitive emotion, fear, right? I'm sure all of you would have experienced it, and some of you might be still experiencing it. So I'm going to share with you a few remedies which address different types of fear. And the most likely kind of fear over here is the fear of what if, I call it. It's a fear which is an imagined fear. You you think about, you imagine situations in the future. What if this happens? What if that happens? And get into a state of panic. That's the extreme, but the pathway is continuous presumptions about anything wrong that might happen in the future, leading you to feeling very, very scared. This remedy, again, a very useful remedy, is called Aspen, Aspen, Aspen. A must have remedy for this situation. And guys, before I move any further, whatever I'm talking of is not theoretical. I don't believe that Bach Flower can be recommended or prescribed theoretically. Most of all that I'm going to talk about, 80% of it, I have personally experienced. And 20% of it has been tried by people close to me. And I have found out from their experience how exactly it has worked. There is a lot of trial and error that has gone in for me to arrive at the right kind of remedy. Because there are 38 remedies and more than 4 million combinations that are possible. So it is simply not possible if somebody theoretically advises or recommends. I am not sure whether it's going to work or not. Luckily, bachelor remedies are safe. They don't have any side effect. There is no fear of overdose. There is no biochemical component in it. And you cannot ever go wrong. Even if you go wrong, nothing will go wrong with you. So therefore, people experiment with it a lot. And sometimes they're effective, sometimes they're suboptimally effective. And sometimes by fluke or by design, they can be very, very effective with their remedies. So please remember, all these remedies that I'm talking about have been experienced either by me or by people close to me. And I have known from their experience that they work or they don't work. Only the ones that have worked I'm talking about. So aspirin is the first remedy for fear, which will be useful under this situation. The other remedy for fear that you would need in this situation is that of fear of authority. What if the authorities clamp down my movement? What if the authorities isolate me and put me in the quarantine? Most importantly, it is not just an authority figure, but the situation, the size of the situation, the criticality of the situation, the seriousness of the situation itself assumes a proportion of authority. One feels powerless in front of this situation, and coronavirus itself looms large in front of me. The apprehension, the threat looms large in front of me as the authority. Fear of authority is best dealt with this remedy called larch, Larch. The other remedies of fear. Very important remedy. Cherry plum. When you fear, you're losing your control. When in moments of extreme fear, extreme anxiety, extreme distress, you have this thought that I might be losing my mind. I don't know. I might behave absolutely irrationally. Or you start behaving irrationally. Your behavior, not just your personal behavior, but your physical behavior. Your hands start trembling. You have peculiar sensations in your stomach. There is profuse sweat coming out of you. You uh, find your movements are not very stable. The remedy to look for is cherry plum. Moving from direct fear to something which is associated with fear but may not be about you but about somebody you care for. And this is very, very likely that in a situation like this. Hi, Sharmi. Thank you very much for joining. Just stay with me and invite others to join. This is an advisory for the nation, and I suppose people will benefit from it. So, this is more of a concern for people who I care for, people who I love. And this concern assumes proportion of apprehension. What happens if something goes wrong with him? So somebody sneezes and you get completely berserk with that. My God, I think so and so is infected. What will happen now if so and so is infected? So Sharmi is here. She's an expert also. We are we are like colleagues, we can say, and she will agree with me. Red chestnut is the remedy which you need to have at that point in time. Parents will have this feeling, this emotion, most likely. What happens if their children are affected by this virus? So please have red chestnut, and even if it is mild, no problem, please have it. Please remember, Bach Flower remedies can be had drop of a hat. You need to change your paradigm that only when things become serious, you take medicines. That is about modern medicines, most of which is toxic. Bach Flower remedy is absolutely non-toxic. So the moment you feel an iota of disruption and disturbance at an emotional plane, please reach out for the right remedy. So I have covered most of the fear-related remedies in the current situation. There are other fear-related remedies which, if you experience, please feel free to call me and I'll help you with it. I'm going to share my phone number at the end of the session. I'm going to share my email address also. Here is my phone number. I'll be happy to do a consult with you and help you to find the right remedies and guide you to make the right compositions. So now coming after fear, now we are moving to, we have moved from denial and we have seen how acceptance can happen. We have looked at fear, which was our first reaction to the shock and the trauma. And now we are coming to anger. So, anger, one is directed towards the outside, where you believe that people are doing severe injustice to you. The country has done a lot of injustice to you. The world has done a lot of injustice to you. And you would like to lash back, where you get into fits of rage, where the other aspect of anger is also like if your neighbor is fine and you are not fine, you feel jealous of your neighbor. That is also another aspect of anger. You also start suspecting each and every person who comes to your door. You start suspecting. and you believe that this person brings in infection to you. So the remedy for such anger and anger related emotion is holly, quite a popular flower, holly, used during Christmas, but in this case, it is used for direct anger which is pointed towards the outside. As it is active anger, it is not passive anger. However, there might be passive anger too, which might be resentment, which might be bitterness, which might be a sense of being unfortunate. Why did it have to happen with me? Why was I a part of this entire milieu? I could have been out of the country and some goddamn country where corona does not happen. And you start self pitying yourself also. The self pity is mixed with resentment, bitterness, feeling unfortunate. In such case, the remedy is willow. And uh, a familiar name, but I'm not talking of the willow tree. I'm talking of the flower willow and the extract of that, which can be used in case of resentment. Again, the fingers are all pointing outside that I am a poor me, I'm a victim because of the world. I've been victimized. I've been isolated. I've been put on isolation inside home because of others. I didn't have anything to do with it. And why should I suffer? That's below. Along with this, as I'm talking of isolation, the feeling of isolation itself can be dealt very well with this remedy called heather. Personally tried by me initial days of COVID-19, there was this very strange feeling where I found, even though I was not isolated, but I felt isolated. And I wish I had company. Not that there were no company. Physically, I had my family with me. And yet they felt to be so distant. And then I tried Heather and I was out of that emotion. So, having now looked at how do I manage my anger and sense of isolation, bargaining also is taken care of by Willow. Now I'm coming to depression. Again, like anger, depression can be of different types, but the one which can be most appropriate, most essential for this situation is called gentian. Gentian is a state that happens, Gentian. You can call it gentian also. Many people call it gentian. The initial feeling is that of discouragement and disappointment. Despite trying to do many things, nothing much is happening. Now, besides the health hazard that this situation brings, please remember that there is a huge socio-economical impact. Today, some relief has been announced for the lower middle class and the daily wagers. As usual, the middle class does not know what to do. Many people are not sure whether their paychecks are going to come next month. Those who are self-employed, they are not sure of what would be their way of earning a living. They are not sure of what assignments would come their way. Now, in such a situation, it is quite possible that people might try to do many things. And in this situation, it is quite likely that the person will feel discouraged. Hi, Mishri. Thanks for joining. Stay on with me. It's quite likely the person may feel disappointed and discouraged. And being in this state of disappointment and discouragement, eventually the person starts seeing the world through a lens which is that of doom. Nothing right is going to happen. Even if there is something good happening, the thought inside would be, well, it's too good to believe. The risk with the gentian, the negative gentian state, is if you are too long in the state, you might end up unconsciously making self fulfilling prophecies. So get out of this state immediately and help yourself to look at the situation optimistically. What best you can do, how best you can leverage it, things like this, so on and so forth. I know it is easier said than done, and that is why Bachelor Remedies. Trust me, guys, you don't have to do any self affirmation. You don't have to do any tapping. You don't have to sit for hours together in meditation and stop all the negative chatter. You don't have to do anything. I have found Bachelor Remedy as the most minimalistic remedy to restore emotional balance and comfort. The other remedy for depression that you might want to look at is mustard. It is indicated for sudden sense of deep gloom that may descend upon you as a cloud, and then interestingly, it lifts up on its own also. But till such time it is there, it is very, very uncomfortable. So mustard is another remedy that I would like to recommend in such situations. I think I have dealt with most of the important remedies that you will require to take for your emotional comfort and harmony. There are other remedies which can help you to ward off the infection and strengthen your immunity. They can only attempt to do that. Please remember, bachelor remedies don't work on the outside. They neither work on the illness, they work on the individual. These remedies are very spiritual in nature, and when you take these remedies, your persona and your essence gets integrated to make you a whole individual. And once you reclaim your wholeness, you, by virtue of being integrated again, heal yourself of the illness. So, keeping that method of healing in mind, there are remedies which can help you to build a strong oral boundary around you. You know, in the past, I've heard sages who were enlightened sages. They had such strong oral boundaries that not even an insect could dare come close to them. So, similarly, there are remedies which can help you only. They are not sure short fixes. There are no fixes in bachelor remedies. So, similarly, there are remedies which can help you to step up your immune mechanism, and from it being in a sluggish state, it becomes more active. There are remedies which can help you to take life easy. Yeah, I think I must also, in the current context with no house help, uh, I know particularly those who are homemakers, they are feeling stressed because of some of them are working from home and also managing home. I don't know how they are doing it. Please write down oak is very useful for you. Oak helps you to feel unburdened of something that seems to have gotten imposed on you, and you must be wondering why only me have to do everything at home. That is oak. That's the voice of oak. Moments of low physical energy, combine oak and olive, and it will help you to give a pickup. Wonderful for not only homemakers, but people who are feeling stressed because of this overwhelming pressure of what this pandemic is going to do to us. And talking about overwhelming, Helm is the remedy which can help you to come out of a feeling of being overwhelmed. So I think I've reached the end of these remedies. Coming to how you combine them, pick up the right remedies which suit the right kind of emotions that you're having. Guys, I don't like recommending one size fits all remedy. There are many people who are doing that. I personally feel they'll be suboptimal, and any person with average intelligence will be able to pick up the right remedies. Just remember to add walnut to this remedy, and if possible, Star of Bethlehem. The second rule is, as per the written rule, you cannot have more than 7 remedies. Not that you cannot have, but more the remedies, the less effective it is. In fact, I personally like to make remedies and composites out of only 5 remedies. See if you can contain it into 5. If required, make 2 composites of 5 each. But remember, Star of Bethlehem, Rock Rose, Walnut, these are very, very important remedies. You can phase out. You can take a remedy for 1 week, like I suggested, sweet chestnut gourds and rescue remedy. Take it for 3 days. And then you can make your own composite and try it out. If it doesn't work, change it. Try with some other remedy. How do you mix the remedies? I think the most uncomplicated way, it can be had as liquid. What you will get from the shop will be liquids. These are dilutions of the cell, ready to use dilutions. So if you are making a composite of 5 remedies in a 30 ml bottle, which is a mixing bottle, you can put 6 ml each, which is 30 divided by 5, and 6 ml of each remedy you can put, and you'll get the liquid. You take 4 drops of this every 3 hours. Normally, it is recommended 4 hours. In this case, I'm recommending 3 hours. 4 hours for me seemed to be a little long drawn, so I changed it to 3 hours. And even for my family members, they're all fine with taking 4 drops every 3 hours. If you want to make pills out of it, globules, sugar globules, homeopathic globules, that's very simple. For every 30 ml bottle of globules, you put together all together of 70 drops. I repeat, 70 drops. Let's say you have 7 remedies and you have a 30 ml bottle full of sugar pills, sugar globules, and you have to first fill up the bottle with the globules. Okay, don't first put the liquid and then the bottle, then the globules. It is difficult to mix. So first put the sugar globules and put 10 drops each if you have 7 remedies in your composite. So divide the 70 with the number of remedies that are there in the composite and those many drops. A few drops here and there, a little more drops falling. Nothing goes wrong. Remember, you can experiment with this. It's a very safe remedy. And I'm a WhatsApp away. So if you find any problem, if you have any confusion, please send me a WhatsApp. I'll definitely like to help you out. Also, before I close, I would like to share with you, I'm going to start bachelor coaching classes. These coaching classes are coaching for excellence in bachelor therapy, not just remedy. So you get to learn how to conduct bachelor therapy, not just for your clients, but for yourself and your family members. So you can join me. Please again, send me a WhatsApp on my number 9611 861132. I'll write it down. Please send me a WhatsApp and I'll send you all the details starting from 6th and it'll go on till 11. It will be 6 sessions, 2 hours each. And I'm planning to do it for a very small batch of not more than 8 people. So come soon if you're interested. I'm also available for consult. This is a time when you find there are other challenges, your old challenges, once again raising their head. If you want me to help you with that, text me, send me a WhatsApp. We'll fix up a time and do a consult. And I'm also asking you to stay prepared for my next session, which is another modality which will be of great help during times like now, which is called guided presencing. And I, as a transformational life coach, have been using this modality for 10 years or more. It's been of tremendous help. So stay tuned, keep chatting, keep talking, and I'll keep coming back to help you with little bit tidbits which can tide you through difficult times. So that's the end of this first session under the title Learning in Lockdown. Very soon, I'll be coming back to you with the next session. Goodbye and good evening, and stay safe and take care. Bye bye.